Hey guys, Fireside Coffee here. I want to do a quick video and show you how I was able to fix clear coat damage on my truck. Now, this is showing both sides of the vehicle. On the hood here you can see that it's got pretty severe clear coat damage. So I'm going to show you what I did. Here I'm using some 400 sandpaper, and what I'm going to do is just wet the hood down with some soapy water. And I chose to do this wet just to save on the sandpaper. I was a little low on the sandpaper. So I wet it down, wet down the sandpaper, and I'm starting with 400, which is somewhat aggressive. And I'm just going around here using very light pressure. I'm not pressing real hard. And I'm going to try to go in all different directions here, trying not to, like I said, press hard. You don't want to cause any scratches to it. I did this for quite a while, and just keep moving it around and make sure you keep it wet. You can see that it's starting to come through to the primer there. So I moved on a little bit further onto the hood there, and I'm just respraying my sandpaper and cleaning everything up, making sure it's wet again. I'm going to keep this wet. You can see here I've gone through to the primer. I'm going to just put a color coat, like a base coat on, and then clear it. So as long as I'm not getting through to the metal, this will be fine. If you get through to the metal, then you're going to have to add some primer. So I'm just trying to get this clear coat off. I don't want to get down to the metal. I mean, if I do, like I said, it's not a big deal. You can just use some primer. So this is taking a little bit of time. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit of a project. Here I'm rinsing off, just because you've got a lot of sanding debris on there from the paper and the clear coat and the color you took off. So I'm feeling along the edges here. You'll be able to feel, if you go too far down, you'll be able to feel your paint. There'll be a little bit of a lip there. And if you do that, just keep, as you can see, it started to rain on me. Just keep trying to feather the edge. You don't want to have any kind of a lip there that you can feel, or that's going to show up. 46 degrees was the warmest day of the week that I could find. So preferably it should be about 50 degrees or over if you're going to be painting. But I started the project, it was supposed to be warmer, and it turned out not to be as warm as they said. So, and also, as you'll see, I have quite an issue with the rain. So it's just a light drizzle right now, but here I am again just going over those edges. I want to make sure that I don't feel a lip there before I add my color. Flip over your paper, keep it wet, keep your paper clean. And now I'm gonna step it up. Different grit, because I want to do what I call a final sand, just to make sure that everything feels smooth. Cleaning it off again. And it's just a process. Just keep going back, make sure you don't feel any of the edges. I can also feel here if there's like clear coat that's a little bit higher than the other, and you'd want to sand that off also. So here I am, because it started to pour, and here I'm using alcohol and a heat gun because of the temperature. If it wasn't for the temperature, I wouldn't be using the heat gun. I would just let it air dry between the coats. So I'm wiping it down here with alcohol, cleaning that off as good as possible. I went over it quite a few times with alcohol in this step. I'm taping off where I don't want to add any extra color. This is what I'm using, the Duplicolor. It's a match for my paint. It actually matched pretty well. Just got that in AutoZone. Here I'm heating up the metal with the heat gun because of the temperature again. So I didn't want the metal to be too cold. So I went over it lightly for a little bit with the heat gun. Didn't go too crazy. Just to get that metal up to temperature. And in here I'm just going to take the color and I'm going to spray a light coat. I'm going to go over it one time with a light coat. Just try not to get any runs or anything here. I just want to get the color to stick to that primer. So I'm doing light coats. I did a few light coats. In between I would just hit it with the heat gun just to make sure that that metal stayed warm enough. And go back, hit it again. I did about 3 coats of color. You'll be able to see, you're just trying to cover back up that primer and get something, a base coat down on that metal. You'll be able to tell. And this is just clear that you can get from, a hardware store. I think AutoZone actually carries it too. I'm just going to hit it with some clear here. Clear I also did 3 coats. Here's the heat gun again. Now here I made sure that it wasn't raining or anything. I didn't have any drizzle because obviously you don't want, preferably you'd be doing this in a garage. You don't want the rain or any debris in it. Now there's some dirt in the paint, which is not a big deal. I can buff that out later. But this is just by no means professional. I'm not a body man. This is just me watching videos. So here you can see on the passenger side it started to rain on me. So, and the rain literally lasted about 20 seconds, but it was just enough. I pulled the tarp over, and when I pulled the tarp back, you can see the dirt in the paint. The pine needles and dirt that were on top of the tarp that fell from the tree during that 20-second rainstorm fell into my paint. So I was able to go back and wet sand that all down and reapply and get all the dirt out. But here's a look before buffing. So I just went through and buffed and waxed. So that's all there is to it. Hopefully I helped somebody out with it. If you have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. But like I said, I'm not a professional. This was just something I watched videos and did it myself, and it actually turned out, like I said, pretty well. I'll give a final video. I'll upload showing what it looked like after I buffed it out. Okay, as always, thanks for watching, guys. Take care and God bless.